Did You Have To is a proud member of the But Why Though podcast community.
Welcome back to Did You Have To, the podcast where two bad bitches talk about anime. And here are your hosts, Kate and Nisha. Yeah! Nisha's quirk, stress ball. By internalizing her stress about the world being in chaos and crime, she converts that stress into a superpower, becoming a badass. Kate's quirk, waifu warrior. By just watching her favorite shows, she can manifest real or fictional characters into the real thing. They come to life and fight by her side. Not every character does it, though. She has to find the individual really hot. Yeah!
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Did You Have To? I'm Kate.
And I'm Nisha.
And if you've been following us on social media, you know that we've been covering Fantasia Fest 2020, the Montreal Film Festival that has a crap ton of live action anime and manga adaptations. Like, holy crap.
So many. Like, when you told me about it, I was just like, wait, what's playing? All the things we've been wanting to watch?
Yep. And first on this list for our Fantasia coverage is none other than Wotakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku, which we literally talk about anytime we get a chance to talk about a live action that we want to see.
Yes. Let's set the stage first real quick. We literally started this show and I had told you, I think it was, hey, have you watched this show called Wotakoi? I think you'd like it, Kate. And then we started this podcast. So we've been waiting for this longer than this podcast has existed.
Yep.
So this is like the cusp of what started our friendship.
Yes. So it's nice to see it come full circle. Some of the other things you can expect for us are Kakaguri and Fly Me to Saitama, which are two other ones that we'll be doing reviews for. I kind of want to convince Nisha to watch Hentai Man.
I mean, I'm down.
I don't know if you saw that screener, but it's there.
I'm going to just add that to my list and we'll see if I can get that next. Remember, we did tell Yodoye we were going to do a hentai episode one day.
We did.
So,
but yeah, so Nisha, why don't you tell everybody what Wotakoi is if they don't know?
So, for those of you who do not know what Wotakoi Love is Hard for an Otaku is, it is a Japanese web manga series written and illustrated by Fujita. It was first posted as a Pixiv in 2014, and then it was serialized into a full-fledged manga. And the story is about two childhood friends who, by chance, end up working at the same company. And fun fact, they're both otakus. The girl likes to hide the fact that she's an otaku from the guys that she dates and from her career life, whereas the guy does not care about hiding he's an otaku, and he's been in love with her this whole time, and they decide to start dating, and then hilarity ensues. It's so good.
It's been a while since we've done a live action review on the show, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But when we talk about our love of the source material first, this is probably one of the best romances because it's so relatable. When Hirotaka, who's the male character, when he asks out Momose or Narumi, he says, "I will grind anything that you want, levels or character items," and then something like that. And I'm just like, my heart. Because one of the first conversations my husband and I had was, is it okay if I stay in this room for 9 hours and only play a video game and possibly don't talk to you? And then we were both like, wait, but we both do that, so we can play together. So it's a really relatable anime and manga. And Kodansha right now is where you can buy the English versions of that. They are a little pricey, which is why I don't have them yet. I think they're like $13 to $17 depending on the volume.
I'm gonna wait for that box set.
Yes. But what it doesn't tell you is that there's actually a really great friendship dynamic too with Hanako and is it Kubakara?
Yes, Kubkara.
Yeah, and Kubakara, who are another pair of otaku couple, but a different, she is a cosplay otaku and he is a sports otaku who also likes video games. And so that there's a dynamic that happens where you have Hanako is really good friends with Momose, and Kubakara is really good friends with Hirotaka, and they get to talk about their relationships, but also showcase different sides of themselves, and then they get to like be together in the world. And there's never like, oh, will they, won't they? Because they get together the first episode, and then the rest of it is just like, here's their romance, here's them being boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yep.
So
it's so good. And it's on the note of like it being relatable, like it's not just that they're like, oh, I like anime and video games. Like it is like hardcore. Narumi is a Fujoshi. Like she loves boy love, and she also has like a self-print or self-published.
She's a doujin art. She's a doujin mangaka.
Yeah, and so she does that. Whereas, like you already mentioned, Hanukkah, she does cosplay, and it's just like there's different. You can literally look at each of them, the four of them. You can be like, you can see either yourself or somebody else in them.
Yep.
Like when I see Narumi, I see Kate.
For obvious reasons, just go to my Twitter.
for very obvious reasons, but it's like it's so sweet, and I'm just like, that's Kate and Matt. It's them. Oh, it's so pure, but it is so cute and it's great, and it's like I do love that it's an adult romance anime that is relatable as we are adults. And granted, like I think they're all like mid to late 20s, but it's like this thing of like, no, it's not just like this goofy, wacky romantic comedy. They're like dealing with real stuff. Like Hirotaka is constantly questioning like, is mine and Narumi's relationship progressing at a good pace? And am I does she really want to be with me? Because like he's been in love with her from the beginning, and it's his whole thing of like he changed himself. He wanted to be the guy that she wanted to date, the kind of guys he saw her dating in high school,
which is not otaku, but rather somebody who has a pierced ear and is a little edgy.
Right. And it's just like the fact that he just tells her like, well, I'm an otaku too, and I would like we can date, and she's just like, can we?
Mm-hmm.
And like it's just so good.
And there's in the anime there is a no otaku date where like he bans talking about anything otaku, and it's really well done, and they're at a theme park. And it's not about changing their dynamic. It's very clear that it's about him trying to find out if they can bond over something that isn't otaku. And the story or the theme behind that is that he learns that he doesn't have to. Just bonding over the hobbies and the things that you like is okay, and you don't need something more than that because that will just naturally happen.
Right. It's so good. So let's get into the live action then.
Yes. Do you want to start?
So I just want to. It's the first thing that pops to mind. This thing is a musical.
Yes, it's a musical.
And I did not know I wanted it as a musical until they started singing, and I was like, never mind. This is great.
And we're talking like J-pop and like moody jazz.
Oh my God, the jazz. I was just like, this is working for me. I don't know why, but it is working for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that for me, because as we talk about it, we'll talk about the things that they changed. This is something that they changed that I think did all the work for any change that you would need for somebody coming in to feel like this was different. Like I think had this just been a musical straight adaptation of like what we see happen in the manga and the anime, I would have been so excited because it's something different. It's a different type of thing because a musical is so well done. And also the costuming.
Oh, so good.
The costuming is amazing.
The actors look just Hirotaka.
I'm going to look up the actor's name.
Yes, find her name. Because phenomenal job with casting, costuming. Like it's, if you held up their picture and their as the character and the character from the manga or the anime, I see no difference. They really did a great job.
Yeah, so Kento Yamazaki plays Hirotaka Nifuji, and this man has actually been in other things. He played Josuke in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure live action that we watched.
The range.
He was also in Orange. He played Naruse in Orange.
No.
Yes, he played Gakuru. He's also in Your Lie in April.
Is he the main character in Your Lie in April?
He's also L. He's also L in the Death Note miniseries.
This man has been working.
Yeah, like it's kind of like, oh, is there an anime adaptation? Let's go ahead and call Kento Yamazaki. He's also in the Nino no Kuni as well. So Homeboy's been working, and I see why. He's so good. I actually like Hirotaka in the live action more than not more, but like, okay, Hirotaka and Momose don't get accurate side, like not accurate, but like they don't have equal sides of their investment in the relationship shown, in my opinion. It's too much focus on what Momose is doing and what Momose wants, and then like you kind of have Hirotaka sprinkled in. But when Hirotaka is on screen, he's so good. Like his facial expressions, the way he acts out some of the more absurd pieces that are like literally pulled from the anime with like pop-ups and stuff like that. And he's just perfect. He's so attractive too.
Like this man steals the show. Honestly, if I had to pick out, and I say this is like, I like from the anime and the manga, I felt like I always like, I love Kabakura. And because I'm like, yeah, Kabakura is my time. But in this,
a shock to no one.
And a shock to absolutely no one. Because goals. But Kabakura is great too. I'm not saying that, I'm nothing bad against the actor that plays them either. But it's just like, I agree with you. Like in this, I think it really does a good job of showing a lot of Hirotaka's. Like, I feel like you're right. In the anime and the manga, it's a lot. It feels more one-sided with Narumi. Like we see.
Oh no, I think it's the opposite.
Oh, you mean it's the opposite?
I think it's the opposite.
I feel like I want to watch it again now.
Well, actually, no. Okay, so I think you may be right, because I do think we don't get to see a lot of Hirotaka stuff, but we do get to see him at home, and we do get to see the relationship with his brother. But I don't. Okay, so I think you are right in that, like, we're consistently in Narumi's head in the manga and the anime,
right?
But for some reason, okay, that's what it is. The relationship feels equal in the manga and the anime. They have equal investment. They're on the same page. It feels equal. Whereas in the movie, I feel like it's a lot of, oh, Narumi is feeling this certain type of way, so we're only going to focus on what Narumi is feeling versus these people are equal. Because like the plot revolves around how Hirotaka responds to Narumi, but it's not about why he's doing those things, and it's all about how Narumi receives those things. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me how you said it. Yeah, no, I think that's what I'm getting at, where like the movie, it shows both of them alone, away from each other, and like doing their own thing. And as it progresses, you know, there's the drama of it where Narumi's concerned about like, well, I haven't heard from him, and like, are things okay? And like, we don't really see that side of Hirotaka until later, I think in the latter half of it. And like sprinkled in other places too. So I think it does a good job of that.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess what are the things that they kept what are the things that they adapted really well from the anime and the manga? Like, what are some of your favorite things?
Oh, okay. So some of my favorite things are definitely The Office. At like the whole, like the ridiculous, like, how Narumi will see things as a video game and then like friend or foe, and then it's like friend, and she's like or run away, fight, befriend, and shit's all like they literally do. I love that they worked that into this. Like it's just like it's just like in the source material. We see that from her perspective because like there's all these like funny and cute nods to like the anime and the manga, but like it's also great for people who are like, weebs, otakus, people who like love this stuff. Because you're just like, no, like how many I think about it sometimes, like when I approach somebody, I'm like, do I run? Do I befriend? Maybe not as like, sorry, there's a car or a motorcycle. I'll edit that out. Okay. But yeah, no, like I love that they really leaned into that side of the source material and like working that into the live action, because I think it adds something. Like, I mean, if you're gonna go ahead and make this a musical, why not lean into all the other, joke stuff that they do in the source material? I mean, I think it's really well done too.
Yeah, I agree too. I think that there are like small things that they kept, like when it's the first time he sees her after he asks her out, and they go to the elevator, and before she gets on the elevator, he stops her and he puts his hand. He does the classic like shoujo josei, well, I guess romance, because it happens to Yaoi too. But like the romance thing where she's so much smaller than him and her back's against the wall, and he puts his hand on the wall and he talks. And so they kept that, which it was a little awkward, but it was so good, and I loved it.
So good. I loved it. And it is so good, and they did it so well. When it's like the whole thing of like, I probably should have, like, I'm paraphrasing, but the whole like, I am sorry if I made you uncomfortable by telling you I love you, and she's like, I didn't, and he's like, I didn't. Like,
it was so good. It was so good. And then like from that too, I think the best, it's hard for me because I think that there are elements of this of the live action that I think miss the point of the original story, which is that you can find love as an otaku, and it's not about making it work, it's about how it works. Like in the anime and the manga, you get to understand how people connect, versus this one is like like the entire premise of the movie is a struggling to connect. And what makes me sad is because they the director Yoichi Fukuda, because he also, I believe he wrote it as well or adapted it as well. What he did was he adapted the scene where they stay up all night while Narumi is illustrating and writing her doujin that she's going to sell at Comiket. And they do it so well because they have the headsets on, they're talking, and they like, that they're drawing explicit scenes because instead of it just being this one-off, they then go to Comiket, and that's adapted really, really well as well. Like she goes off to get tea, and all these yaoi fangirls are like so excited that there is a fudanshi, which is a guy who likes manga or BL manga, and that works well. But immediately after, they added this scene where she gets to talk to her female friends, who also love BL. And it's one of those, it's really nice because it builds her out as like, oh, she actually does have people that she can talk to about this. And they discuss yaoi. Like they talk about reversible couples, like they get in on it. And it's when that is the moment when you realize, oh, he didn't just help her finish a comic, he drew explicit scenes to help her finish a comic. He helped her do that. And it made me so happy because this happens early on. The film's almost 2 hours. And then it just sharply departs from that.
It does. Which, okay, we can just get into it now, because like I think one of the cornerstones of Wotakoi and why I love it so much, it is definitely the friendships and the bonds between the two couples. Because with Kabakura and Hanako, They are the senior couple where like they're
Yes.
2 years older than Hirotaka and Narumi. So
and they've already been together for some time.
Right. They've been together for a while. Like it's implied that they've been dating since he graduated from high school and she was like his junior. So it's implied that they've been together since then, which adorable and love it because also they're sorry, I'm just gonna like diverge real quick. They're so cute and they're exactly what I would want in a relationship because they're both very competitive and they both played volleyball in high school and they're both team captains and they're both just stubborn and it's like my favorite couple trope. I swear. But anyways, back to the point. So as we go through the movie and the whole time in the beginning, I'm like, so where's Hanako? And why isn't she showing Narumi around the office? Because in the source material, it is Hanako and it is Kabakura who is with Hirotaka because Hirotaka and Kabakura work on the same team and he is their manager and they all like communicate one another on the regular. But it's like, they're absent and they're not here. And as the film progresses, Kabakura comes into play and Hanako comes into play, but they're separate. And like the whole time, I'm just like, okay, I don't think I like this part right here of how the couples are not integrating and talking because they even have that cool double date. I'm going to call it a double date, but like when Hirotaka invites Narumi over to his place, she's freaking out and like, oh shoot, what color's my underwear? And they do that here and they have that joke here, but like she thinks it's one thing that's gonna happen that night and they end up coming over and they all just end up playing video games all night and having a sleepover, which I'm like, this is cute. And it's just cute to see the two couples interact. But as the film goes on, like Kate said, it takes a weird left. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it besides that, but it just takes a weird turn for me where I really feel one of the biggest cornerstones besides like the romance of like, yes, otakus can find love too. And it's not about how they can make it work. It's about like, accepting that person for their interest and then loving them and not limiting them to what they enjoy because you want them to do that. But then it's also the friendship that Narumi and Hanako have and they bond over boy love manga. And like Narumi is able to like suggestions to her and Narumi loves like cosplayers and like Hanako can talk to her about cosplaying and like, oh, I'm gonna have you be my cosplay, you can meet me and you can do a duo one day. Like it's very adorable and it's great, but we don't really get any of that. You're muted.
And I think that that's one of the things that's frustrating because as a fan of the source material, I wasn't expecting it to be exact, but a lot of the promotional images have Kabakura and Hanako, and their costuming, again, is phenomenal. They look like them. They do a good job. And you go from having these cornerstone characters, like you said, Nisha, that are like, they're people that are supposed to ground our main characters and be there to talk about their problems and understand them in a deeper way. And it doesn't happen because Hanako ends up getting brought in as the person that Hirotaka talks to.
Yeah.
And Kabakura gets brought in as the person that Narumi talks to. And it gets frustrating because they try to plant that like love square, like everybody, it tries to put every character. Yeah, it tries to put every character into a love triangle, and it's never been that. And it's one of those things where like they take two characters who were very defined as like also leads in their own. There were secondary characters, but they had as much of an important purpose for the main characters that they should have been featured, especially because they have characters fulfilling those roles. So Sakuragai, or Ko Sakuragai, is a girl in the anime because she's like this reclusive gamer, and then essentially, she's a reclusive gamer, and then Nefuji's younger brother ends up falling in love with her, and so like that's a whole thing. But in the live action, Sakuragi is like a junior employee that works with both Hirataka and Momose, and they kind of work as the Hanako and the Kubakara, where he talks to both of them and like mediates.
Bless
and like mediates everything.
you.
And I'm like, why not just have Hanako and Kubakara? Because then it gets solved. And so it just takes this weird turn where, in my opinion, it relies too much on existing like rom-com tropes.
Yeah.
When I'm like, you could have just gone with the anime, man. Like, I get changing stuff because it's like the anime happens, it's a slice of life. So it's like different things every time.
Right.
So I understand needing to put a linear narrative on it. But it just... It fumbled that for me.
It did fumble because, like, I agree. Like, okay, say they wanted to do the love quadrangle, like rom-com trope thing, they literally could have done that in the second act, and then, isn't this funny? A misunderstanding. Look, I'm like, this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend. Great, now we're all otakus and we're all friends. Like, because it does do that. It does do that where it's like the reveal is like, oh yeah, no, I didn't bring him here to hook up with me. I needed somebody to like model this cosplay with me.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good idea. Like, had they just migrated that aspect to the second act, it would have been fine.
It would have been fine
because then they could have just gotten on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm on board with that.
Right.
I still would think I would have been a little bit frustrated with the love triangle, but I could have gotten behind it if we had seen them take care of it early on, and then we just got our buddy romance after.
That's it. Because like that's my whole thing. I'm like, okay, cool. If you wanted to keep something new and refreshing and like original in this story, like that deviates from the source material, you could have done that, but just do it earlier and then like really splice that in there and then put the other stuff that happened in the movie after it, like them going on their date. And then like, because it's not weird that, for example, Hanako and Hirotaka are like, he goes to her for advice because like he does legit ask her for advice, and like he's concerned about, is my relation, like, are we being like childish? Is our relationship moving too fast, too slow? And like Hanako does give him some good advice and just basically tells him like, you don't need to worry about like how fast your relationship's moving.
Yeah.
As long as you're both happy, that's what's important. Like you'll find your own pace. But it's like, we don't even get that because Hanako is just sitting at the bar and like talking to him. I mean, like, because it's suggested that she's hitting on him, and I'm just like, I don't like this. I don't like where this is going.
Yeah,
I don't like this. But it gets us back. But I'm like, we didn't. But I really wanted to see was Hanako and Narumi having that friendship.
Yeah,
I think that's what really does it.
And the only thing I can think of is because, so one of the reasons the Wotakoi manga stalled was because of the anime production. Mm-hmm. And the anime is caught up, and so it hasn't done anything. And then the live action started. So then neither of those things happened because Fujita was working on the other two things. And so I don't know if we're ever going to get more story. But I think because this live action pretty much pulls a couple of things that are sprinkled throughout the anime series or the way it's animated. But what I'm wondering is if they did it this way so that they could have a sequel, and in that sequel is when you're seeing the more in-depth like romance pieces and the friend stuff. Because we do get the underwear moment, which was really fun and it was really hilarious, like live action. But we're missing some of the other elements. So I wonder if that's why this happened the way that it did. Is if they're looking for sequel potential, which given how live action anime adaptations are produced in Japan, which I will say, doing this podcast, I don't have hate for live action anime adaptations anymore because it's literally their book to screen thing in Japan.
Yes.
So like having our American, but I'm still not 100% on American productions of them. but
Yeah.
it's the same thing as watching novels get turned into movies over there, which is something that's really cool. So I would be surprised if there is talks for a second one, or if there's going to be a second one. I just want Fujita to write again so we can get more.
Yes.
But yeah, that's.
I mean, there were rumors of us getting like they're going because it stopped at 11 like episodes on Amazon Prime. Like that's where people can watch it, and it used to be updated regularly there. But there's been rumors of them putting out episode 12, which I'll believe it when I see it. I'm a Berserk and Hunter x Hunter fan. I'm used to being left on red, so it's fine. It's fine. I can wait. I can wait. But I'm also not going to get my hopes up until I see that thing. But it's just because the I want the manga to end on like have a full ending, and I want the anime to have like a real ending. Like I want all those things I want them to come back and write. But like I do agree with you where I'm like, I'm not this like doing the show with you, and like because we've watched so many, I'm pretty sure we've watched more live action adaptations than the average week. So I feel like that exposure alone has like opened our eyes to like, yeah, no, live action adaptations don't all suck.
Yeah.
And or at least like I can say like I don't hate them all. It's just more so understanding like what is an adaptation and what is a reflection. Are you going into something hoping that it's an exact live action reflection of the animated or illustrated series, or are you going into something and they're going to make an original story that's used from the adapted source material?
Yeah. And honestly, like I think more I want to dive into more of the slice of life anime adaptations, because I think those have been easier. Like Orange was really good. But I think what you're saying is completely right. It's kind of like going in with this understanding that this is going, so long as this piece of media keeps the heart of the source material, I will be okay. And I think that that's why I have complicated feelings about Wotakoi, because I think a general audience will love the hell out of it. And it was number one in Japan when it debuted too. So, I mean, I can't say that it's a bad movie, but as a fan, I feel like it lost a lot of the heart of what it is, because costuming, phenomenal. Like they literally take the outfits that they wear in the manga and anime and put them on these characters. Like it works.
They made a pink suit with a skirt work, which I hate women's suits, work suits. So bad. But like, God, they're ugly.
But it works.
It works.
The blue shirt that he wears at Comic-Con, like it works. Like her date outfit, it's the same, and it hits a lot of the pulled from the page successes, but it doesn't feel the same. And I think because Wotakoi has such a very big place in my heart, it's very hard for me to say that this is something that I love as much as I wanted to love it. I think if you're not super familiar with them, or if you're just more in it for like rom-com, like I think you'll really love this, because they do change some stuff and they do add a lot of stuff, and we won't go into it just to leave some stuff unspoiled. But I think everybody should watch it at least. What do you think?
I think people should watch it. I honestly do think it's a good adaptation. I will just say, like, same reason as what you've said. I have just always felt that one of the biggest parts of Wotakoi, besides the romance, is the friendship between the four characters, the two couples. So I just feel like because we didn't get that, that's my biggest, and I want to say only hang up with it. I'm fine with the other changes. It does keep some of the core elements of the source material, but if I were to tell people like yes or no, watch it, I would say yes, watch it. It's a good live action adaptation. Like it is good. I think it still does deliver like what Wotakoi is about. And I do hope if they make a sequel, I'm down. I'm like, I want to see the four of them doing their weeb shit and like and not struggling, but like living their lives and being in relationships with one another.
Yeah, I'm definitely like, I would love a 2.
Like a 2, and then we can get now.
Yes. Well, can we get now though? Because Sakura guy is a guy now.
Retcon that and make that their like her older brother. I don't know. Do something. Like, that's how you connect the two. Like, I want it.
Yeah.
I want it because those two are so awkward and cute. And it's just now is adorable.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, if it was number one in Japan, like, hopefully they greenlit it for a sequel if they want to, or they could do a
I
series.
feel like they could. I really feel like they could.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they could, and I would really like it. And I don't know. I think that there is just a lot. There's so much good in it. It just didn't hit the way I wanted it to hit, I guess. I think that's what it is.
That's a hard thing. That's like, I'm trying to like find something to equate it to. It's like, y'all know when y'all see that piece of cake and you convince yourself that it's going to be the best piece of cake ever. So like you get 2 slices and you eat that first bite.
Yeah.
And then you eat that second, and then you eat that second slice, and then you're like, this is not that good anymore.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's good, but it's not that good in the second half. But then it comes back around. But
yeah,
I don't know. I probably ruined that with that analogy. I don't know. But watch it.
Watch it.
Yeah, I think we stand by our seal of approval to watch it.
Yeah.
And this is an example of an adaptation that takes original risks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that that's a good description. Especially because the music was good.
The musical part was good, and I'm not mad at it. I want the soundtrack.
Yeah, no, I do too.
So good.
So I feel like this can get the official it pleases me and my homegirl seal. Yeah, no, go watch it. It's screened at Fantasia Fest 2020, which is done now, I think, by the time that this records, or it may still be up. But yeah, I don't know when it's getting distro in the United States, but we'll keep you posted on that. Yeah, anything else?
No, just go watch it. I mean, like, and if this is your first time hearing us ever talk about Wotakoi, one, I got 2 things for you to do. Go read Kate's review of Wotakoi, because I believe you wrote a piece about it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite pieces she's ever written. 2, go watch it on Amazon Prime. I know all of y'all have it, or y'all know somebody with Prime. So go watch it on Amazon Prime. It's 11 episodes. It's amazing. Go watch it. And go do those 2 things if this is y'all first time hearing us talk about Wotakoi. But you will understand if you are someone who loves anime and you have either had at least one friend who also loves anime, or you're that person who's looking for friends who love anime, I think this will resonate with you in a certain way. Like, this is literally the anime that led to me and Kate being best friends.
Yes, it was. So that and Berserk and Gantz. But this is the...
Well, I feel like we've explained that story to people, but for newcomers, like, y'all can go and listen to it.
Yeah, y'all go start at episode 1, work your way back up. You'll get the jokes. Well, yeah. As always, you can find us on Twitter at DYHT_pod. We're at over 1,000 followers. So like, keep retweeting us. Tell your friends to go follow us and listen to us and subscribe to us on all the things. Maybe leave us an iTunes review.
That'd be nice.
That would be real good.
We'll shout you out.
And as always, you can find me on Twitter at ohmymythrandier. I'm currently yelling a lot about yaoi because it's my safe haven in this awful world.
Yes. And you guys can also find me on Twitter at LA_NEY_SHA, where I've been yelling about One Piece.
You have. You have.
I have made it to the promised land. I realize why everyone loves this anime. It only took, 300 and something episodes, but I get it. I get it now. I am now a Straw Hat. I'm going to go buy a Straw Hat while my hair is like this and do a Luffy cosplay at some point. But I love this damn anime. So y'all can find me yelling about One Piece as I go on my adventure to the other 500 and something episodes. But I'm gonna get Kate to watch it one day.
Man, that's too many damn episodes.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. 1,000 episodes is not. It's not too much.
It's an illusion. But anyway,
that is a delusion.
almost to 500. I'm almost over the hump. I'm gonna get there, and I'll win my bet. Damn it!
Which, if though, for those of you first listening, I said that Nisha could not, in fact, watch all of One Piece by December 31st of 2020.
By midnight, to be specific.
By midnight. By 11:59.
Yes.
This girl's gonna celebrate New Year's Eve in her room, in her condo, trying to hit episode whatever is last.
You're making it sound like a bad way to spend New Year's in a pandemic. Where am I going
That's
to go?
fair. That's fair. It is a pandemic.
So I got plenty of time. I'm gonna do this. But anyways, with that, will you guys go watch Wotakoi? Love is Hard for an Otaku. Do you have a friend who is also an otaku, and do you guys share a special bond? And will I prove Kate wrong and watch all of One Piece before 11:59 p.m. on December 31st? Find out next time on Did You Have To? Bye.
Did You Have To is co-produced by Kate Sanchez and Lanisha Campbell. Our intro is done by Dr. Emery Stephen Daniel. And our outro and intro music is by Benjamin Tissot, aka Ben Sound.